Hello. Hello, and welcome to the graduation ceremony of Russellville High School's class of 2002. I'm Rachel Trusty, Senior Class President. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. The All-State Senior Choir members, Rye Bailey, Ryan Cutler, Warren Dickey, Sabra Follis, Lisa Horan, Susan Newmeyer, and Stephen Warren will sing the Lord's Prayer. "33 graduates have grade points of 4 or higher. The top 4 will be our speakers this afternoon.
Hi, my name is Quentin Resin. I'd like to tell you a story. There's a group of people sitting around at about 4 in the afternoon wishing they could go home. They're all tired because school was a killer that day, and they really look forward to the weekend so that they can go home and have some free time. Still, they know it's not over because they have homework. English, math, science, you name it. Does it sound familiar? Sound like any of you? Because I'm talking about your teachers. We all make fun of them, all complain about the homework that they give us, and go home sick when they give us tests on the same day. But you have to realize that they have to grade those tests, check endless stacks of paper, and most importantly, keep their chins up when they know that we're walking through the halls saying what we'd give to drop their class. We need to repay them for this devotion. Not to play favorites, but most of you know Mr. Tuttle. In Mr. Tuttle's class, you have to work and earn your grade. Just recently, we took the AP English exam, and I don't know how we did. Maybe some of us did well enough to get out of English in college. Maybe not. But we were relieved because the test was really easy for all of us. And that's because he pushed us. He gave us practice tests that nearly all of us failed. He gave us hour-long exams and gave us pages of terms to study and then quizzed us on them. I have to thank him for every quiz, essay, and practice test. I have to thank all the other teachers too, even the ones whose classes I was never in, because they took a year out of their lives to make sure that we were ready for college and for our careers. They could have been at tech or at the nuclear plant making real money. You need to remember what they taught you, because there will be a test. It's called life. I don't know where or when, but someone someday will ask you what 7% of $400 amounts to, or how you spell illusion, or where Budapest is. And when you answer them, they'll learn a little bit about Russellville High School. They'll learn that the teachers know their stuff, and that the students retain what they have learned. You need to thank your teachers for the little things that you will remember years from now. You need to repay them with the words of Brutus, Mark Antony, and Macbeth. Even if you never thank your teachers personally, honor the work that they've put into you by holding on to what they've taught you and by representing them in the real world. Who knows, you may be living the life they wish they'd had. But I know that they're each proud of what they've accomplished and what we've accomplished when we walk out those doors with diplomas in hand. The same thing goes for the staff, the janitors, the lunch ladies, and everyone else at the school. Each one of them played a little part of our life at RHS, no matter how small it may seem, and they deserve our thanks and our respect for it. Even if that's nothing more than a smile and a nod when you see them at the grocery store and realize that they have lives outside school too. This goes to everyone, to Mr. White, Mr. Matlock, and Miss Robinson for keeping the nut house running, to Mr. Burt, Mrs. Ritchie, Miss Lawrence, and Mrs. Howard for getting us out of the nut house, to everyone that works behind the scenes day in and day out. Thank you for doing the jobs that no one else can. And finally, to all the teachers, every one of you, for making this day possible, for helping us, for testing us, and for pushing us so that we're ready to face whatever the coming years throw at us. On this day, we celebrate the end of 12 years of school, and everyone is going to have a little slogan that they want you to take along and remember for the rest of your lives. Here's mine. If anyone ever comes up to you and tells you that high school was the best years of your life, just smile and nod. Because no matter how great high school may have been, how great you looked at on prom night, how many awards you got, remember, it's only 3 years. And if you let 3 years define the best times of your life, what are the rest of them for? I ask you to make every year the best year. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Matt Cobbs. Well, fellow classmates of 2002, welcome to your graduation. Welcome to your commencement. You're sending out into the world. Welcome to the rest of your lives. In a matter of minutes, you'll be set loose in the world to go forth and be successful. You'll be set loose in a world of greed, of bad morals, of selfishness, and of pride. You'll be set loose in a world that doesn't know you, nor does it care to know you. You'll be set loose in a world that doesn't give a rip about your future, your destiny. You'll be set loose in a world that is more concerned with its success than whether you live or die. That world is a harsh place, and in a matter of minutes, you'll be sent into it. Is that discouraging, disheartening, depressing? What about that if you're educated, you will go far, or if you try hard enough, you can accomplish whatever you want in life? Well, unfortunately, the truth doesn't disappear for a few hours so that we can have graduation. The truth is that the world is a tough place to be in. However, Paul, that guy who wrote so many letters in the Bible, has a bit of advice for us who are about to be sent into the world. He says, "Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Guys, the pattern of this world is what I stated before: greed, selfishness, pride, apathy, bad morals, etc. After this graduation ceremony, you'll have a choice laid before you. You can choose to become like that which you are entering, or you can choose to be different from your surroundings, to stand out in the dark world, to be a glimmer amidst the gloom. You can choose to be a black hole or a supernova, a dark blob or a burning candle. When you leave this building, this Colosseum, you will encounter your road diverged in a wood. Which path are you going to take, the wide or the narrow, the highway or the byway, the one daily traveled or the one less traveled? It's up to you. So what about the other part of what Paul says, this being transformed and renewing of your mind? To get the full meaning of this phrase, we would have to get into some rather Christian beliefs, and I recognize that not all of you want me to do that. However, there is a message in here that is pertinent to this event. What is that message? Is that we can never let our minds fall into decay. They need to be constantly renewed so that we can be transformed to those people that think for themselves, that do not merely conform to the pattern of this world. People that are successful where it counts, not in money, not in politics, not in business, but in life. So today I challenge each and every one of you, fellow graduates, parents, relatives, friends, and teachers. I challenge you to take this bit of advice. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. If you do, I believe that you'll have one of the most important types of success, happiness. And now I'd like to close with a blessing. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine on you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Thank you.
First off, I'd just like to publicly apologize for missing the barbecue yesterday. Yeah, sorry guys. I think everybody wrote their speech and had it done on Wednesday, and I finished mine up yesterday morning. So it was kind of last second, but that's okay because it kind of characterizes most of this year for me. When I sat down to write it at the computer, I really had no idea what to say, so I typed that and then sat and looked at it for a while. As I sat there, I realized that this would probably be the last time I may ever see some of y'all. And then I really wasn't sure what to say. For me, graduating is full of a lot of mixed feelings. I'm really glad to be done with school. And I do feel like I've accomplished something, but I'm sad to leave. I realize, though, that everything's got a time, and it's time to leave. It'd be wrong to stay just simply because that's what growing up is about. I'd like to read a poem by Robert Herrick. I'm sure most of you have heard at least part of it. It's called "To the Virgins to Make Much of Time." Gather ye rosebuds while ye may, old time is still a-flying, and this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be dying. The glorious lamp of heaven, the sun, the higher he's a-getting, the sooner will his race be run, and nearer he's to setting. That age is best which is the first, when youth and blood are warmer, but being spent, the worse and worse times still succeed the former. So be not coy, but use your time, and while you may go merry, for having lost but once your prime, you may forever tarry. The poem's message is to seize the day. Seize the day right now while we're still in our prime. I agree. Now is the time to seize the day, and I challenge each of us, including myself, to do so. I disagree with the poem, however, that the vigor of life is lost with age. I believe that's a choice we can all make. An illustration my pastor shared once applies to this. The tradition of bearing the Olympic torch is derived from the ancient race in which all the runners were given torches. The winner of the race was not the one who merely crossed the finish line first. Instead, the winner was the one who could run the race the fastest without ever letting the flame die out. For these runners, merely running the race was pointless if their torch was not burning. I believe that the same is true for our lives. I would challenge you, as the Apostle Paul said, to run in such a way that you would win. I didn't just want to give an inspirational speech, though. I truly feel that the most important part of my speech would be to thank you guys. I really hope I'll never forget you guys, and I hope I can look back years from now on my experiences with you and be just as thankful for them as I am right now. When I graduate, I'll be leaving the biggest part of my life that I've ever had to leave, because it's more than just high school. I'm leaving people that I've grown close to. Thank you so much for making my life better.
Hello, I'm Sarah Wade, and I was going to start out by saying that the subject I was going to discuss is a little different from everyone else's, but I hadn't collaborated with them, and my subject is quite similar. But this is something I have been thinking about for a very long time, and I feel that now is the perfect time to share it. So many people confuse quality of life with standard of living right now. They think that those living below middle class can't possibly be satisfied with their lives, and that living in a mansion and driving $60,000 vehicles means you'll be blissfully happy for the rest of your life. Maybe everyone consciously knows it isn't true, but too many people live like it is true. With as many environmental and health problems like global warming, pollution, cancer, and heart disease that result directly from our way of living, you'd think more people would get the message and modify the way they live. Instead, they just donate their money to an organization, leaving these problems for someone else to solve. This is where we come in. My dream is that we can be the generation to stop living entirely as commercial-driven capitalists and start trying to live as humans with meaning in our lives. I hope that our generation will begin to live for happiness and brotherhood rather than for the biggest house and the best package deal to the fitness center. Ultimately, it won't matter that you're a millionaire and the head of your own corporation if you've stepped all over your friends and ignored your family to get there. Money doesn't hug you back, and neither do high-ranking titles, special awards, or expensive possessions. We all know what we might be someday, what we might achieve, and how many millions of dollars we might be able to earn. But I think we should begin to focus our lives on what we know we can be, achieve, and earn, regardless of our status or income. For instance, we can focus on being loving parents, hardworking employees, and devoted spouses. We can achieve years of being dependable, respectful, and selfless human beings. We can earn others' gratitude, trust, and friendship. These are what will truly matter in our lives. There's nothing wrong with having a large income or nice possessions, but I hope we can learn to place more worth on ourselves as people and not on our net monetary value. We have a lot more to experience and many more big days to celebrate, but for almost all of us, today is the biggest milestone we've seen. Graduation is a day of mixed feelings for anyone involved. There's sadness over the fact that our 13 years in the grueling public education system will be ending, but there's also rejoicing on behalf of that. But there's also excitement about the future and about the infinite opportunity open to us all. I just hope we take advantage of that opportunity by raising the quota of good people on earth, and I hope you'll be as enthusiastic about trying to achieve it as I am. Some people will say that the time they spent in high school constitutes the best years of their life. Frankly, I wouldn't wish that upon any of my fellow graduates. If that were true, it would mean that we have nothing to look forward to in the next 60 years. For our sake, I hope that high school has been on the low end of the scale, because that means everything else can only get better from here.
The All-State Senior Choir members will now return to sing Yesterday.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why she had to go, I don't know. She wouldn't say. Oh, I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. I believe in yesterday. Whoa, I had to go. I don't know she would not say.
I said something wrong, now I long for yesterday.
Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. I believe in yesterday was so far away. Oh, yesterday was far away. Ooh. Yesterday.
Hi, I'm Sam Gallagher, Student Council President. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Danny Taylor, Superintendent of Russellville Schools. Mr. Taylor will introduce the members of the school board and the Central Office Administration.
Thank you, Sam. Well, Mr. Matlock told me there's 325 students graduating today. First, let me just tell you, graduates, congratulations. And thank goodness that you did graduate. We've got something over 400 students coming to kindergarten next year. We really needed you to make it. Thanks. I always enjoy getting to visit with you for just a few minutes. All of these programs work out that way. A lot of you don't really know me. I've been behind the scenes almost all of the years that you've been in Russellville schools. Heard a lot of good things about you. Heard one of the speeches just a minute ago. I think it was Quentin said that at times you've had a lot of fun at the expense of your teachers. They've had a lot of fun at times thinking about you. All of that goes both ways. It's hard to see it sometimes when you're on the student side of the desk. You know, I know it's been a long and sometimes grueling education. You've been here now 13 years. There's times you probably thought, I'm never going to get through this. But guess what? You did. Not only can I congratulate you, but parents and family members, all of you, congratulations. This is a real moment in the lives of these graduates today. We've heard different comments over the years that graduates make. I want to just share some of them with you. They go something like this. We've heard, I am so happy. Then another, why am I sad? I thought this was going to be a lot more fun. Then another, I've already heard this today. I'm going to miss my friends. Heck, I even missed Mr. White already. Then there's this one. I'm going to spend a little time with. Hey, where did you say the big party is going to be? I just have to share a little bit about the big party, offer you some cautions. You know, you think about your family, and it's extended to some extent, but when you look around this room, in reality, we're all a great big family. We all want the very best for you, whether it's your parents, other family members, friends in the community, and just acquaintances. We're really a family in this community. And as such, I think I would be remiss if I didn't caution you a little bit. Be just a little bit of your extended family, probably sound a little bit like your daddy at sometimes or your grandfather, and caution you against too much of the big party, trying to have too much celebration at this particular time. Hey, this program, this graduation exercise is a true celebration. And I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't try to have fun as you celebrate your graduation. What I am telling you and begging you is don't try to have the big party. Please be extremely careful these next few days while you're trying to have a good time and celebrate your graduation. I can tell you, we've actually had graduates be hurt badly attempting to celebrate at this particular time. It's so easy just to let a minute, even a few seconds, go by with your guard down and cause harm to yourself and to your family that can last years and even a lifetime. This is a fun time. We want it to be for you, but we want you to be responsible, and we want you to be extremely careful over these next few days. It's been said so many times, life is about choices. All I'm asking is that you make the right ones. Again, let me just say to each of you, congratulations. I know this is a major accomplishment in your life, and I do want you to have fun and enjoy it. It is my pleasure at this time to make a few introductions. If you will, hold your applause until I introduce everyone, and I will ask those introduced to stand as I introduce you. I'm going to introduce the school board members who are with us today. David Eddy, Kevin Moore, Margie Smith, Dr. Herb Taylor. Not with us today is James Biggers, Virginia Berner, and Leon Anderson. I am very pleased to also introduce Dr. Dan Raines, our Assistant Superintendent. And unfortunately, Assistant Superintendent Johnny Thaxton has health problems and could not be in attendance today. If you would, please give a round of applause for the accomplishments of these people.
I'm pleased to introduce my principal and yours, Mr. Wesley White. Following Mr. White's remarks, the class will be presented for graduation. Diplomas will be awarded by Dr. Herb Taylor, President of the School Board. He will be assisted by Mrs. Margaret Robinson and Mr. Mike Matlock, Assistant Principals.
Okay, the time's pretty close, so kind of get your composure. I always look forward to making a few comments about the graduating class, and what I remember particularly about this particular group of students is from the time they entered the high school, this has been a fun-loving group of students. We have thoroughly enjoyed these students as administration and faculty and staff over the last 3 years. If you will probably watch them, there'll be some smiles pop out there during the course of the day, but I think of them just a class of many smiles. This just a happy, friendly group. It's a neat group, and I feel like they've certainly enjoyed their experience at the high school. This class has certainly inspired me with their positive attitudes and their spirit of service and volunteerism in the community, and I couldn't even begin to tell you the many contributions that they have made to Russellville High School as well as area churches in the community. It's a very dedicated group of kids, and they mean to make a difference. They're extremely blessed with talent, intelligence, and leadership ability, but also I want to give you credit for the outstanding character that you've displayed at Russellville High School. I would probably say that maybe this group is one of the most focused group as well, and probably have it together as well as any group that I've had the privilege to graduate. Now, folks, don't confuse fun-loving with ability and performance and success, because this is a very accomplished group of students. We have students here that have won awards at the national level, many individual and state level awards and championships. It's been a banner year for athletics at Russellville High School. One of our best football teams, track teams, also gymnastic teams. During the course of this year, 4 of our teams were ranked #1 in the state. Also, there are some of our best ever art and drama students in this group. And I couldn't, again, I don't have the numbers, but another great year. You know, we have the all-state seniors that have been here before you, and you know their abilities, and of course out here in the audience are all-state band members. Academically, a very good group. This past Monday, we handed out scholarships, and I said over $2 million worth, and guys, probably it's more like $3 million. It's considerable when you really figure it out. There are 80 Arkansas scholars in the group. There are 6 National Merit finalists in the group. Almost 1/3 of these students are honor graduates. As we stated before, there are 33 students here that have achieved a 4.0 or better. They are seated here close by with gold tassels, and I really would like to recognize you if you would stand, and if the 4.0 and better, would you please stand? Thank you very much. This will be the first group that will receive their diplomas. In closing, just on behalf of faculty and myself and other administrators, I just want to tell you that we're very proud of you, class of 2002. We couldn't ask for greater representatives and better representatives from our high school and from this community. I want to encourage you to keep on being the fun-loving students that you are. Keep on doing just exactly what you do. I don't have any words of wisdom. I just want you to do what you've already been doing and just go out and do it better and show the world what you're made of. And parents, again, as Mr. Taylor said, without your support and your encouragement, certainly we would not have these young people here. So parents and grandparents, I again reiterate, we thank you for the parents that you are, for sending these outstanding young people to us, and also we thank you for instilling these fine qualities in them. So now, as principal of Russellville High School, I'm proud to say that the students seated here before you today have fulfilled graduation requirements as set by the Arkansas Department of Education and Russellville School District. And it is my pleasure to present the RHS class of 2002 for presentation of diplomas. With the first row representing our 4-point graduates, please rise and come forward. I have, while they're coming forward, just a special request. I make this every year, but it's a very natural that this is a time of celebration. We do have students moving rather quickly across the front. I would just ask if the audience would to keep their celebration short, because it's very important that the next graduate's name be recognized so that their family and friends also has the opportunity to participate in this celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the class of 2002.
Jennifer Lynn Blaylock with highest honors. Jamie Lee Brittenham with highest honors. Eric Todd Brock with highest honors. Amy Aline Bynum with highest honors. Ryan Chase Cochran with highest honors. Misty Dawn Cook with highest honors. Jessica Nicole Eason with highest honors. Laura Elizabeth Edwards with highest honors. Susan Jane Galbo with highest honors. Christopher Aaron Harrell with highest honors. Carrie Elizabeth Harris with highest honors. Paul Faxon Hill with highest honors. Garen Gilman Holman with highest honors. Brett Wolf Kirkconnell with highest honors. Matthew Carl Cobbs with highest honors. Jason Benjamin Lee with highest honors. Lauren Elizabeth Madeley with highest honors. Ashley Erin Mason with highest honors. Colt Michael McLean with highest honors. Megan Lee McKinney with highest honors. Andrea Lee Meeker with highest honors. Ryan Owen Miller with highest honors. Rachel Taylor Philpott with highest honors. Elizabeth Catherine Post with highest honors. John Daniel Raines with highest honors. Quentin Gerald Resin with highest honors. Jason Terrence Rossmeyer with highest honors. Elizabeth Claire Scott with highest honors. Sarah Renee Smith with highest honors. Catherine Elizabeth Suto with highest honors. John McKay Sachs with highest honors. Rachel Ann Trusty with highest honors. Sarah Elizabeth Wade with highest honors. Crystal Lynn Abel. Erica Kathleen Atkins. Kyle Brandon Altman. Robert Grant Allenbaugh with honors. Alicia Gail Anderson with highest honors. Devin Lamar Anderson. Michael Dean Andrews, Jr. Freddie Edward Armstrong, III. Ryan Matthew Arter. Jessica Allison Askew. Kimberly Nicole Byer. Amberly Dawn Whitaker. Richard Aaron Bailey. Robert Rye Bailey with honors. Lauren Catherine Bearfield with high honors. Robert Jess Barnett. Zachary Todd Barrow with honors. Whitney Ann Bartlett. Rachel Lee Beard. Annabelle Lee Beach with highest honors. Amanda Marie Bell with highest honors. Cesar Marcelino Belmonte. Robert Brandon Bement with highest honors. Delilah Mae Biggs. David Michael Blaschke. Lamontrell DeJuan Blocker. Lamontrius Devon Blocker. Andrea Carlene Bowden. James Richard Bowie with honors. Clayton Austin Bradford. Lindsay Louise Bradley. Jessica Nicole Brewer. Tamara Elise Brooks. Justin Ryan Brown. Gina Simonetta Bruni. Bradley Merle Buckman. Zachary Todd Calvert. Leslie Michelle Kennard. Catherine Sue Ann Carroll. Jason Scott Casey. Tracy Leanne Cottle. Dustin Zane Coffin. Stephen Daniel Kowitzel. Anna Louise Chisholm. Philip Choi. Kurt Anthony Cronister. Michelle Sue Clark. Joshua Aaron Kaufman with high honors. Whitney Danielle Cocklew. Horatio Stardaris Coley. Adrena Lynn Collins. Robert Devin Collins. Dario Solovich with honors. Brian Kelly Connerly. Jesse DeAndre Cooper. Reagan Elizabeth Cowell. Lauren Nicole Cowling with high honors. Greg Michael Crouch with honors. Glenn David Cunningham. Jennifer Lynn Curran. Ryan Christopher Cutler with honors. Justin Michael Dalton. Gregory James Davis. Sarah Marie Davis. Lakeisha Deshawn DeBarterleven. Dominique Ariel DeJeanette. Warren Stewart Dickey with honors. Kylie Elizabeth Dilbeck. Dawn Elizabeth Dilday. Brad Allen Donaldson. Chad Michael Dozier. Terry Lynn Dreer. David Duckworth. Ronald Matthew Duffield. Keith Brian Duke. Daryl Chris Edwards. Frankie Dawn Eichenberger. Matthew Clay Ellis. Ryan Edward Elmore. Treese Jamar Embry. Kara Elizabeth Enderly. Josue Eduardo Enriquez. Nikki Leanne Evans. Pamela Lee Evans with high honors. Elizabeth Ruth Flake. Brian Dwayne Flood. Sabra Aaron Follis with highest honors. Justin Michael Ford. Jeremiah Michael Foster. Lynette Brandon Franks. Michael Dale Freeman. Erin Elizabeth Frine with high honors. Tiffany Rochelle Gadberry. Stephen Michael Gaither. Samuel Zachary Eli Gallagher. Jerry Lee Galloway. Terry Joe Garrison. Jonathan Lars Glasscock. Rosara Gonzalez. Rebecca Marie Gosnell with honors. Ryan Derek Grace. Ashley Denise Graham with highest honors. Jessica Evelyn Gray. James Jefferson Green. Jeffrey Stephen Green with high honors. Earl Jasper Hall. Daniel James Hamilton. Holly Lynn Hanlon. Ashley Britt Harden with honors. Mallory Bowen Harden with honors. Kelsey Grant Harrelson with honors. Lindsay Ann Harper with highest honors. Sarah Lauren Harrison. Miranda K. Hallmark. Corey Jerwayne Hayes. Elizabeth Nicole Hayes with highest honors. Jessica Lauren Haynes with high honors. Jerry Christina Heffley. Jessica Lynn Hendricks. Eric Joseph Hensley. Kendall Edward Hearn. Wendy Kendall Higginson with honors. Cassie Elizabeth Hilgerson with high honors. Megan Lee Heinzman. Lisa Renee Horan with honors. Brittany Nicole Horton. Chad Michael Horton. Kimberly Renee Horton with honors. Laurel Cherise Horton. Jessica Marie Howerton with high honors. Sarah Jaleesa Francis Honeycutt. Richard Allen Eady. Misty Dawn Irving with honors. Cassandra Denise Irwin. Angela Dawn Jennings with honors.
Carrie Joey Johns. Rico Johnson Jr. Jessica Lauren Johnston. Caleb Ryan Jones. Jessica Janelle Jones. Katie Camille Keenan with honors. Angela Michelle Knight. Patrick Ryan Kelly. Talina Patricia Kelly. Michael David Kelly. Ronald Dale Kendrick. Christopher Kinslow. Brian Stephen Crost. Philip Craig Labuda. Jessica Ann Langford. Heather Ann Level. Kristen Bailey Lee. Caleb Benjamin Little. Christopher Bryce Lomax with honors. Heather Marie Lowry with high honors. Rebecca Ann Luker with honors. George Rhett Lunningham with honors. Karen Beth McKay. Bobby Matthew Maggard. Leola Ann Magnus. Katie Lacole Mahan. Elizabeth Roxana Manning. Tamara Jean Marco. Sarah Elizabeth Martin. Catherine Lynette Mason. Jamie Royce Mathis. LaRonda Ann McDaniel. Bailey Ray McAllen. William Allen McGee. Mark Michael McGugan. Ian Patrick McKinney. Mallory Kathleen McKinney. Jerry Lynn Meadows. Christy Gale Mefford. Kayla Renee Metz. Matthew Metz. Sydney Robotha Miller IV with high honors. Brian Michael Mills. Aaron Michael Millsaps. Jessica Leanne Mitchell. Asia Nicole Montgomery. Tanya Louette Montgomery. Bethany Janie Moody with highest honors. Brad Allen Moore. Jonathan Bradley Moore with honors. Andrea Lynn Morrell with highest honors. Tina Marie Morgan. Stacy Elizabeth Mortensen. Dancia Mia Munrichi. Natalie Van Murdoch. She didn't come up. Brian Don Myrick. Susan Marie Newmeyer. Tammy Yvonne Newmeyer with high honors. Nicholas Austin Knowles. Lindsay Marie Northrup. Mitchell Ryan Knuckles. Germancio Dermon Oliver. Jermaine Armand Oliver. Jamie Alexis Parker. Luke Edward Pearson with honors. Jennifer Jane Peavy with honors. Suzanne Marie Pennington. Brittany Ann Peters with honors. Kyle Joseph Phillips. Sarah Beth Phillips with high honors. Sheena Denise Pillow. Laura Elizabeth Post. Jamie Bess Randalls with honors. Erica Lynn Reeves with honors. Kimberly Ann Reynolds. Tyrese DeJean Richardson. Daniel Patrick Rippenoff. Kurt Stephen Riggs. Shannon Lee Wrinkle with high honors. Alicia Diane Ripley. Holly Elizabeth Ritter. Chelsea Lee Robinson. Alfredo Rodriguez. Josh Stephen Rogers with honors. Selvin Onassis Rojas. Erica Elizabeth Rolanek. Megan Elizabeth Roys. Sierra Renee Rubnik. Brooke Lee Russell. Michael Anthony Russo with high honors. Marshall Duffy Rye. Delynn Matthew Saunders. Jonathan Scott Schaefer with honors. Tasha Nicole Shimbra. Benjamin Allen Shue. Alicia Michelle Sears. Carrie Danielle Setzer with high honors. Sarah Elizabeth Singular. John Thomas Sharon with high honors. Deidre D. Simpson. Amy Louise Smith with honors. Blake Edward Smith. Christopher Michael Dean Smith. Kenneth Jarmaluk Smith with honors. William Marion Strigley III with highest honors. Charlie Leonard Stevenson. Emily Suzanne Stever. Justin Ryan Sukup. Ashley DeLynn Sutterfield with honors. Ashley Taylor. Megan Lynn Taylor with honors. John Milton Teeter with honors. Ben Thomas. Jerry Lewis Thompson. Aaron Joshua Thornton. Micah Renee Tillen. Ralph Robert Titsworth. Christine Annie Titus with honors. Dustin Wayne Trent. Brandy Lee Tripp with honors. Catherine Louise Turner. Susan Blakely Turner. Leanna Starr Van Dyne. Amanda K. Vaughn with highest honors. Anna Hernandez Valaquez. Jeffrey Lynn Wachtendorf. Michael Wade Wachtendorf. Gary James Walker. Tanya Patricia Walker. Christopher Aaron Ward. Stephen David Warren with honors. Aliko Jormadan Washington. Jeffrey Matthew Whitby. Joshua Michael Whitcomb. Ashley Ann White. Matthew Allen White. Joshua L. Whitlow. James Michael Wilkins. Mackenzie Williamson. Jennifer Lynn Wilson. Courtney Renee Wyndham with highest honors. Jessica Nicole Wynn. J.B. Winters, Jr. Jennifer Grace Winters with highest honors. Jessica J. Winters. Sarah Ashley Womack with highest honors. Jennifer Lynn Woodrum with highest honors. Lindsay Renee Woolsey. Amanda Starr Wright with honors. Ingrid Desiree Wright with high honors. Christopher Nicholas Wrinkle. Joshua Woods Yard. Christopher Michael York. Natasha Elaine Zamora. Laura Michelle Zanell.
Now could you please stand for the alma mater?
There you go.